the FA as a referee. And other students are going on to undertake postgraduate studies either at UCS, at the University of Chester or elsewhere, including on our own Physician Associate programme, which goes from strength to strength. For a longer-term view of how our alumni progress, here are just a few examples of where you could be in a few years' time. So current graduates are working in the following roles and locations: as a chemical engineer in Norway, at Biorad Life Science Research Laboratories in Oxford, as a microbiologist in food safety, teaching in Belgium and Kuwait, PhD study at Imperial College in collaboration with the UK Health Security Agency, an MSc in regenerative medicine at Queen Mary University, PhD in creative writing at Chester. I could go on, but those are just a few examples to inspire you. So look around at your cohort, see how many people from different backgrounds have flourished, and try and keep this picture in your mind so that in the future you can recall your own achievements. Because you have all achieved so much. You're no longer a student, but shortly will be a proud graduate. So I'd like to conclude with some heartfelt thank yous to the academics who've continued to adapt and change your programs of study to ensure you could stay on track with your learning despite all those changed circumstances I spoke of. To our university professional services staff who've looked after you in so many ways, sometimes behind the scenes, and you may not even be aware of that. To our Chair of Governors, who's with us today, and to all our council who help guide this institution. To the Walker Trust, who provided bursaries to students from Shropshire and who funded the outstanding laboratories our science graduates have used. To our awards and ceremonies team, to everyone who's made this ceremony such an occasion for you. And to the people closest to you who've supported you during your studies. But mostly, thank you to those of you graduating today for choosing to study at the University Centre Shrewsbury in the first place, but more particularly for your commitment you've shown throughout your studies. And today, in this wonderful setting of St. Chad's, we want to give you a ceremony you'll remember forever. You're why we exist, and I look forward to shaking your hands individually. You all deserve a huge round of applause. Well done.
Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, graduands and ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am Professor Paul Johnson. I'm Deputy Provost at the University of Chester and Head of University Centre Shrewsbury. Before I begin the important task of presenting you for your degrees and awards, I would like to say a few words about what makes University Centre Shrewsbury so special. University Centre Shrewsbury is a partnership between the University of Chester and Shropshire Council, and it had its first graduating cohort in 2018. So it's both a new institution and also one that can trace its roots back to 1839, when the college, which would become the University of Chester, was founded. We identified a need and an opportunity to develop the higher education offer in Shropshire, and now we have students engaged on programs of study, undergraduate, postgraduate and apprenticeship from Shropshire, from across the UK and from around the world. We continue to grow our offer with, for example, the Nurse Associate Degree Apprenticeship starting in 2023, building on our experience and the huge success of the Social Work Degree Apprenticeship, where we work with both Shropshire and Telford and Wrekin. The quality of this provision is recognised by the fact that we won University of the Year in the Social Worker of the Year Awards last year. Our reach also continues to increase, with record numbers of international students applying and enrolling this year. We are also very pleased with our progression partnership in health with Shrewsbury Colleges Group, where successful students have a route into adult nursing, with progression directly into the UCS adult nursing course, the opportunity to apply to work as a healthcare assistant alongside their studies, and a guaranteed route into adult nursing after they graduate. I am extremely proud of our students, our partners, and the contribution that our students have made and that our graduates, you, will go on to make. You who are graduating today have not only completed your studies, but have also made outstanding contributions to community, whether that be through supporting your fellow students, making an impact through academic research, or through volunteering your time and talent. I am extremely proud of you. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present these graduands for admission to the degree of Master of Arts in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit these graduands to the degree of Master of Arts of the University of Chester.
Caroline Harrison. Samara Natalie Heyman-Bant. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present these graduands for the award of Postgraduate Certificate of Education of this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I present these graduands with the award of Postgraduate Certificate of Education of the University of Chester.
Amy Brooks. Tira Brown. Francesca Burchett. Amy Butters. Liam Cartwright. Molly Jane Cheeseman. Emily Childs. Robert Cowley. Cassie Ann Espley-Clegg. Ellie Evans. Caitlin Folger. Alice Gillam. Aisha Green. Catherine Greenland. Ashley Griffin. Carly Hall. Ellie Hewer. Kelly Hidalgo. Alice Howard. Rachel Lloyd. Tia Maiden Dixon. Robbie Taylor Mates. Olivia Newey. Nicola Parton. Stephanie Plant. Amy Joy Porter. Molly Price. Stephanie Roberts. Bethany Ryan. Estella Smith. Amrit Dhaliwal. Tanita Taylor. Bobby Townsend. Natasha Ann Wallbank. Megan Warmisham. James Wilson. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate, I present these graduands for admission to the degree of Bachelor of Arts in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit these graduands to the degree of Bachelor of Arts of the University of Chester.
Eleanor Aldridge. Hattie Bickley. Catherine Burt. Katie Ann Cannell. Leah Page Chantry. Jared Edmonds. Alexandra Eleftheriou. Sophie Ford. Poppy Foster. Daniela Gelmetti. Henry Gregory. Madison Humphreys. Amelia Jones. Rebecca Jones. Gemma Kalinowski. Alicia Marie Lloyd Bate. Molly Martin. Georgia Amy Massey. Natasha McGowan. Gabriella McMorrow. Charlie Moss. Luke O'Mara. Seraphin Palmer. Rebecca Parks. Carla Perez. Millie Potter. Millie Pottinger. Ella Preston. Abigail Pritchard. Lily Roberts. Charlotte Robinson. Hannah Scott. Phoebe Rose Shaw. Macy Lee Slade. Molly Thomas. Lucy Clarice Thompson. Eleanor Turner. Max Wharton Jenkins. Bryony Rennie Wilkes. Ocean Winsper. Holly Woodall. Chloe Vanessa Yeomans. Vice-Chancellor, I make application to you to present the degrees and awards listed to those candidates of the University of Chester who have not been presented in person, but whose names appear in the programme and who have indicated that they wish their degrees to be presented in their absence. I certify that they are worthy to receive those degrees and awards, and I stand as proxy for them.
I admit them to those degrees and present those awards, and I accept you as proxy. I now call on the public orator to present the honorary graduand, Reverend Canon Dr. Mark Oakley, for admission to his degree.
High Sheriff, Madam Mayor, Vice-Chancellor, ladies, gentlemen, and distinguished guests. It is my privilege to introduce the Reverend Canon Dr. Mark Oakley as the honoree for this graduation ceremony. Born and educated in early life in the beautiful town of Shrewsbury and raised by his grandmother that took on the role of kinship carer to give a young Mark all the opportunities that were possible, allowing him to further his education at the universities of London and Oxford. His is a life devoted to the church, but defined by poetry, novels, theatre, education, and human rights. Dr. Oakley has been a voice and a champion for those that have been victimized and sidelined. It is as the former Archbishop of Canterbury, Lord Williams, said when describing Dr. Oakley. He is one of the most distinctive, intelligent, and refreshing voices in the Church of England, always illuminating, never stale or second-hand. Mark was ordained in 1993 and served at St. John's Wood Church before becoming chaplain at the Bishop of London, to the Bishop of London in 1996. In 2000, he was made the rector of St. Paul's Covent Garden, known as the Actors' Church, where his ministry was largely amongst the theatre community, which formed part of one of his great interests. He expressed to me that he believes, just as Benedict Nightingale said, theatre is the gymnasium for the underused imagination, an art form that opens hearts and minds. In 2005, Mark graced the international stage when he was invited to become the Archdeacon of Germany and Northern Europe, covering 8 countries whilst living in Copenhagen. Upon his return to England in 2010, Mark became a residentiary canon of St. Paul's Cathedral, where he served as first treasurer and then chancellor, with responsibilities for the education, outreach, public engagement, and arts work of the cathedral. Not long after joining the cathedral, he also became the honorary chaplain of the Worshipful Company of Vinters. It was in 2014 that Mark took one of his most surprising roles as a cleric of that of President of the Shropshire Horticulture Society. In 2018, he began his work at Cambridge University, where he is now Dean, Fellow and Tutor of St. John's College, Cambridge, as well as Canon Theologian of Wakefield Cathedral, and from 1996 to this year was a Deputy Priest in Ordinary to His Majesty the King. In July of this year, it was announced that Mark has been appointed the Dean of Southwark and will begin his work back in London in December. As a preacher and speaker, Mark is in wide demand internationally, but this has only fueled his various interests. Mark has a love for poetry, which sprung from his passionate and invested English teacher back in Shrewsbury when he was a young boy. As an only child, Mark combated loneliness and connected with the joys of life through poetry and text. He has written 8 books on the areas of poetry, literature, and theology, including The Splash of Words, Believing in Poetry, which won the International 2019 Michael Ramsey Prize for Theological Writing, which no doubt led to him being invited by the Poet Laureate to serve as a judge for the Ted Hughes Poetry Prize in 2019. But this forms only a glimpse of his accolades. In 2020, he was given a fellowship of the King's College London for exceptional achievement. In 2023, the Archbishop of Canterbury awarded him the Lefranc Award for Education and Scholarship. However, it was in 2018 that he won one of the first national awards given to those who have actively countered hate crime in the UK, an award that represents the vital work that Mark has and still does do to fight for human rights. He has been the chair of the Civil Liberties Trust, a director of Liberty, and is currently an ambassador for Stop Hate UK and patron of Tell Mama, supporting Muslim victims of hate crime. All the while continuing to work for LGBTQ inclusion in the Church of England. The Dr. Oakley is a voice for the voiceless and a champion for the written word. He is a pillar and inspiration that has managed to connect all his passions in the foundation of promoting and preserving the good in every human being. Vice-Chancellor, in the name of the Senate and of the Council, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the Reverend Canon Dr. Mark Oakley for admission to the degree of Doctorate of Education, honoris causa, in this university.
By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Education, honoris causa of the University of Chester. Thank you, and it now gives me great pleasure to invite Reverend Oakley to address the congregation.
Well, I'd first like to thank the university so much for this honour. I'm very grateful to receive this degree in the town of my birth and my childhood, and in a church that I've known all my life. Well, here we all are on one of the most significant days of your life, and I'm asked to impart profound wisdom to you, wisdom that you will be able to remember all your life as life-changing, and I have 5 minutes. I'm currently taking comfort in the words of Quentin Crisp, that if at first you don't succeed, failure may be your style. It's tempting, I suppose, to pass on 1 or 2 thoughts on life that I've sort of worked out as my own life has gone on. Advice is a form of nostalgia, and the problem is the one who dispenses it can sound a bit smugly know-it-all. But there are things I would want to say to you, of course. I'd want to tell you not to waste your life on jealousy and not get trapped into today's sad circle of spending money we don't have on things we don't want in order to impress people we don't like. I'd want to say, don't spend too much time on your phones trying to imitate the imagined greatness of others and wondering whose life you're actually living, but see the value of you and the freshness of being a participant in this life, not just an observer. I'd want to tell you that those times in life that feel you are falling apart are often, when you look back, the times when actually things were falling into place. So stick in there. Difficulty can be important, and if life takes you to hell, just make sure you don't come back empty-handed. And I'd want to say, don't be reckless with other people's hearts, and don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. At the risk of it sounding like a tedious sermon, I'd still want to say that it's always good to remember that the best things in life tend not to be things, but relationships and values and horizons, and that a life spent only on getting your CV virtues in place might forget that it is the eulogy virtues that matter more, not the selling of ourselves in competition, but the things they'll say about us when we're gone. Maya Angelou was as wise as ever when she said, "People will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." Well, those are a few thoughts I might hand on to you. Oh, and I nearly forgot, always wear sunblock. And as for faith, well, there's a lot of bad religion out there, but on the whole, I've been grateful to mine for giving me a poetry to find the contours of a life and a way of living. But if you can't hear the love between the lines of a religion, if it has no generosity, no humanity, and little passion for justice, or can't celebrate the dignity of each and every person, then I'd advise caution. I've always thought God is in the world as poetry is in the poem, but that's me. You must find your spiritual path, something that helps tend your inner life, an art of better attention in a world of distraction. After all, the heart of the human problem is always the problem of the human heart. Finally, just stay amazed. Stay amazed at this life, and don't take anyone for granted. Tell people you love that you love them. Say thank you to friends for what you share. Be a bit kinder to the one living a life you know nothing about. I've just learnt the more you give, the more you tend to receive. Pay attention, and attention tends to pay you back. So go and live and love and keep learning and stay positive whenever you can, because Martin Luther King Jr. never once said, "I have a nightmare." So bring your dreams into view and work hard for a world you want to be part of. The world urgently needs your friendship, and more than mere consumers and competitors, it needs citizens for the common good, showing that the self, to be more itself, can afford to be just a little less selfish. So, over to you. Go well. And don't forget that sunblock. Bon voyage.
I now invite Alexander Elefethru, graduate of the class of 2023, to address the congregation.
Hi everyone, my name's Alexandra Eleftheriou and I've studied childhood studies with applied psychology at UCS for the last 3 years. During my first year at the university, I struggled quite a bit. As a more mature student, not too mature, I did think I would find it relatively easy, coming from a career as a high-profile nanny for the previous 14 years. Within my first year, I ended up receiving a diagnosis of dyslexia and ADHD, and this massively hit my confidence. But with the support of some fantastic staff, such as Michelle, Claire and Sharon, who helped me find my confidence in writing, understanding techniques that suit the way that I personally learn, I feel that I conquered my fear near enough by the third year. My time at the university opened many different volunteering roles for me, such as working with West Mercia Youth Justice panels, SEND children, anti-knife crime and exploitation projects, domestic violence charities, and the Shropshire refugee charities. I really enjoyed and cherished my work that I'd done within Shrewsbury for the past 3 years. So I was asked, what will I take away from my university experience? I'm sure my cohort will be a bit bored of me repeating this. Something I've heard that has stuck with me as a professional is that you'll never know everything. Not only is this humbling as a childcare professional, but it's also a great reason to continually reflect on my practice when I feel sure about a case or an outcome, to always go back and to look at things from another point of view, to study areas which you're not too sure about, and to talk to others in your life who are not just yes people. Always surround yourself with individuals who will show you the other side of the coin and help you to continually grow, not just as a professional, but as a friend, even if it feels very uncomfortable. Never stop trying to understand why people think differently from you, how their core values may differ from your own. Neither are wrong, just created in different life experiences. And so, to my fellow students graduating me today, congratulations to you all. This is the first step of many on our continued journeys, creating our futures, of learning what our dreams will be. Please join me in celebrating all of our achievements by giving us a round of applause.
Well, thank you so much, Alexandra. That was absolutely fantastic. And to Reverend Oakley for those inspiring and thought-provoking words of wisdom at the end of your ceremony. My name's Professor Helen O'Sullivan, and I'm Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost at the University of Chester. As your long-awaited graduation ceremony draws to a close, we hope it's been memorable for you and for those who've been alongside you all through your studies. Whether this was your first degree, straight from school, or you've already had a career and decided to take some time to reskill, or take a break from the world of work to study and research a passion. Whether you were full-time, part-time, an apprentice, we are here to help you with the next stage of your journey. Our Careers and Employability team can help you navigate finding a first, second, or even third job and beyond. Perhaps you're an entrepreneur looking to set up your own enterprise, in which case we can provide business startup advice. You can stay connected to your university via our Department and Alumni Relations Office. Staying in touch with us and your fellow alumni is incredibly important and beneficial. Within that extensive network could be your next employer, mentor, or client. Today, you are celebrating being part of a community that is now over 100,000 strong, living and working in 135 countries. Your souvenir programme has more details about the value of this free, lifelong link. Look out too for graduate shout-out landing in your inbox every month. Just as you exercised your student voice while you were students here, we hope you'll continue to do so as graduates through the Graduate Outcomes Survey. By doing so, you will benefit your current and future professions, as well as current and future students who are on the same journey as you. This is a national questionnaire, and you'll be contacted by our survey partners about this about 15 months after you've completed your studies Your voice really does matter. So if you've already completed this, we thank you for your participation. This is the beginning of your next chapter. We wish you success and fulfillment, whatever the next steps may take you. We've been making history as an institution since the 1800s, and we're privileged to have your contributions and achievements as students as part of our story, just as we are part of yours. So, for those of us here celebrating in this beautiful setting, and to those watching online from around the world, thank you and goodbye for now. To you, our newest alumni, congratulations once again. You will always be part of the University of Chester, and the University of Chester will always be part of you.
I declare closed this congregation for the presentation of degrees and awards. Salva sit Universitas Nostra, quod procantes consagamus.